Hey everybody, and welcome to the video. I've decided to put this together because when I went to purchase some compression calf sleeves recently from this company, I found it quite difficult to distinguish the difference between the two different options which were available to me. Now, I will go over the technical specifications of each of these and I'll do a voiceover to accompany it. However, to begin with, what I'm going to do is just share my personal experiences of the two and just talk about a little bit of, I suppose, individual opinion as to what I have noticed as somebody using the product itself. So what I've got for you today are the R2V2 and I've got the R2 Oxygen, both from Compressport, and difference in price, and there is difference in specification, but as I mentioned, I will go through that shortly with you. Now, in terms of the variations of colour, you can get quite a few different ones, but these are the R2V2. Okay, so pretty standard looking compression calf sleeve, nothing fancy about them. What I will say is, for the moment I put them on, I actually felt straight away like they really do kind of constrict. They feel very, very tight against your leg, which I personally enjoy. I like that sensation. When I have a compression element in my clothing, I really want it to kind of hug nice and tight to my body. So that's what I noticed straight away. Really kind of tight and taut to pull on, and they really do stay in place. Fantastic. You have got this patella support here, the knee protection, which is really good as well. So that is in place, and yeah, pretty much kind of just standard. And they come different colours, so you can dress appropriately to colour coordinate with the rest of your outfits. So this is the compression calf sleeve I've been wearing for probably 6 months. I wear them on all of my runs. Recently, with my Ultra coming up, I decided to invest in a new pair just because these have kind of been through the mill. I've washed them a number of times, this, that and the other. So when I went to the website, I've noticed they've got this R2 Oxygen pair, which are here. So this is what they look like. Slightly different, certainly in terms of the way they feel. They are lighter, they are definitely stretchier. To put them on is a lot easier. Close to putting on kind of a sock, whereas those definitely feel like kind of more of like a tight jean or something like that you might have to pull on with a little bit of ferocity. So this is just a simple, nice, easy to wear compression calf sleeve from them. To be perfectly honest with you, the reason why I purchased these, first of all, it was a half off sale, and secondly, I just thought, in order to tell the difference, I need to try them out, because I just couldn't tell using the kind of technical spec on the website as to what I was purchasing or why I'd want to buy these. So as it stands, I got one pair of each, and with 6 weeks to go into my Ultra, it could well be that if I don't get on with these, which I've been wearing recently, I would revert back to the R2V2s. So, as a user, my recent long runs, I wore this on day 1 for 17 miles and I actually opted for the R2V2 for the following day for 10 miles because I just wanted that kind of constriction against my leg. I found these really light, breathable, very, very simple and easy to wear, and it just does actually feel like you're not wearing them at all, which is fantastic. But in terms of that kind of real lockdown feel, I personally prefer the feel of these. So, you know, with the difference in price, I think you can't go far wrong buying the kind of cheaper, more affordable option. But these here, which are kind of their new addition, do serve a purpose. But at the moment, I'm kind of struggling to feel the benefits of these ones against these here. So as it stands right now, my personal preference is to go through the R2V2s. But it may be when you see the spec in just a second that you do opt for the R2 Oxygen, but they are more expensive, so bear that in mind. Anyway, with that said and done, let's move on to technical spec with me doing the voiceover. Okay, so here's the voiceover. We're going to talk about the R2V2 first of all. You can see that I've detailed some of the features. I've used green and red. Effectively what that is, green will signify the fact that the same detail is used in the R2 Oxygen, with the red being the only real things that seem to be different between the two. So obviously I'm not going to patronise you by reading everything through, but some important things to recognise there. They do help to relieve muscle soreness and fatigue. Certainly I've noticed that as well, and supporting the calves and supporting the knee is really, really key, and a key component certainly of the design itself. Now I've included in red there, this waffle effect technology, offering great protection to the ankle and Achilles tendon. Well, I don't necessarily know that I've noticed anything specific regarding the ankle, perhaps the Achilles, but it's not something that I would have ever actually mentioned if someone stopped me in the street to ask me what this particular product offers. But nevertheless, it is there, and they've also included the words tear proof in normal use. I'm not sure why that's included, but it doesn't appear on the R2 Oxygen one. Now, net weight here, 38 grams, and for your information, the composition of what it's made up of, and the price of £32 RRP. I think generally speaking, it's fair to say that what you're seeing on the screen is pretty self-explanatory. The reason why I've put this here is because I found it quite difficult to navigate through the website and just find a simple list. So hopefully you're able, whilst I'm talking now, to have read through all of the features and make a judgment for yourself whether you feel like the things that are included there are relevant to you or not. Now moving on to the R2 Oxygen. Same applies. You can see at the top, they put top of the range, second skin, white calf sleeve for maximum aeration and muscle support during your toughest races. So this is the new and improved, if you like, R2V2. A couple of things that you will notice in red that have been included, which differ from the R2V2, is this mesh panel providing 360 degrees aeration. Fair enough. The millimeter precision compression graduation in the targeted areas brings oxygen to the muscles and enhances performance. Well, perhaps I haven't had enough use of them to really notice that, but between the two, when wearing them a day apart, I didn't notice that more oxygen was being drawn to the muscles. Certainly the following day I still felt as if I'd done a long run the day before, and so therefore I would say they're pretty much on par with each other. You can see there it mentions the horizontal vertical stretch for an even easier fit. I do agree with that. It does slip on very, very simply and very, very easily. So that is a point that I would say is relevant. It then mentions the R2V2 model, and I would also agree that it is soft and it does feel very, very weightless indeed. Now on their website it actually notes that it's 11 grams for the product, but the net weight is still listed as 30 grams. So again, for your information, everything else is very, very similar in terms of the spec to the R2V2, and the composition is slightly different with an increased percentage on the polyamide to the R2V2, which came at 65%. This is at 78%, but you've got a recommended retail price of £46, so a pretty pricey product. Now, when we put the two next to each other, you can see here that whilst there are some differences, there are a significant number of similarities, which is why I personally got very confused, because when I was trying to buy an updated calf sleeve, I wasn't sure whether to stick with the same that I already had, but simply a new one, or go with the R2 Oxygen. And having not received any response in Compressport, I'm not entirely sure myself whether I could say at this stage that the additional price point between the two would be worth the spend. I'm very, very happy with the R2V2, and I know that actually it's found far cheaper than on the Compressport website itself. So you can actually pick this calf sleeve up for around about £18. I think certainly that's the price it was on Wiggle and other sporting goods stores online. The R2 Oxygen does tend to hold its money. It is more expensive, but again, you can pick it up. It does depend on the size that you order. And what I would say to anybody who's even half interested, please do visit the Compressport website where they have a size guide. You do need to make sure you get the right one, otherwise it will not be a good enough fit for your calf. Anyway, that's me kind of over and out. If you have any questions, please ask me down below. If you have any experience of Compressport, and specifically any of the calf sleeve that I've drawn attention to today, please do feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you.